All right, welcome to another episode of Gap to Greatness with a podcast where we turn conversation into manifestation. I'm your host, Stefan Walker, and every episode we tap into real people with real stories about growth, discipline, mindset, and becoming the best version of ourselves. Today, we are talking to a man who's worn multiple uniforms from serving into the military to now protecting homes as an ADT technician. He's driven by purpose, grounded in growth, and focused on building his next chapter. So let's get into it. Andre Flo Brown, thank you, man, for coming to the podcast. I appreciate you for spending some time with me. We ran into some difficulties, but we are here now, man. I appreciate you, man. My boy,
All
man,
good, all
showing up to the
good, all
podcast.
good, all good. Appreciate you having me. Appreciate you having me.
All right, man. How we feeling today, man? Outside of what's just how we feeling today?
Yeah. Outside the technical difficulties, we all good. We all good, bro. We rolling. We rolling. We rolling.
uh,
High vibes. High vibes. I'm all good. I'm all good
yeah,
on
man,
my
I
side.
appreciate that, man. So if you could describe yourself, I seen in the preliminary questions we was talking about, you said something about mystery box. If you could describe yourself as a mystery box, what's one thing that would be inside that you feel like would surprise people?
I think, and I do know from the outside looking in, before I do meet people, they say that I'm very. I guess I have a what they call it, a RBF. I look real mean on the outside, but the second you get to talk to me and know me, I'm real goofy. I'm real quiet at first and stuff like that, but when I'm around like my boys and stuff like that, I'm all jokes. I like to troll, but at the end of the day, it's all serious no matter what it is. But that's why I call it a mystery box. But some days, I'm just real quiet. I might not want to be in a playful mood 24/7.
Yeah, I feel that.
There might be I say a few, like it's like 24 6, 24 5 maybe, that I'm usually in a playful mood. One
Yeah,
day, 1 or 2 days, I'm just in a real chill mood. I really don't, just want to chill. Don't want to, be all bubbly and all over the place and everything like that. That's why I say it's like a mystery box, because one day you'll get that real goofy side, then the other day I'm mellow, I'm chill, not a whole lot going on.
yeah. It
So that's
also
why I like to call
depends
it a
on the day
mystery
too,
box.
man. You might have a long day, maybe you don't want to be
Yeah,
goofy. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? So that's
work and everything. So
yeah.
yeah, all that comes into play too. Yeah.
All right. One more question before we get into it. I know you're gonna be biased on this question, but
I
Louisiana. You said you was Louisiana born, right? Born and raised. Well,
mm,
not born and raised, but you
no,
was raised
born.
in
Yeah.
Georgia. Raised in Georgia for most of your life. As
Hmm.
far as the food, we always talk about down south. Whose food hits harder? Louisiana, Georgia.
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, like I said, I really haven't had too much of Louisiana food, so I can't really, say Louisiana has the best food, knowing that Louisiana probably does have the best food. But one way or another, bro, we down south, and we all the same country. So I mean, I'm gonna stick with Georgia right now, but I do plan on taking a lot more trips back home, in the future. So it's up for debate right now. It's up for debate.
Okay. So you say you want to take some more trips back to Louisiana. So I know you said that you were born there. So what would you say, like, when did you move officially to Georgia? Was it like,
Officially, I'm a middle child, so my brother was born in New York, well, Brooklyn, same thing. So, he was born in Brooklyn, so he was first. Then it was me. I was in New Orleans. Then my sister. We went right back to Brooklyn. So just like 3 years, because we're all 3 years apart. So we like 3 years in New Orleans,
oh,
and
okay.
then back to New York, and then my dad retired here in Georgia. So
Yeah,
that
that
was pretty
sounds
much it.
similar. So like our younger where you can't really remember it. Like, cause same thing for me. I was born in Washington State, but probably spent like 2 or 3 years early life, like between there and California. And then I moved to Georgia. So,
Mhm.
um, when's the last time that you were there?
Last time I was there was probably when I was in the military. I had training going on. It was real hot, swampy. Whatever you hear about Louisiana is true. Whatever
Okay.
you hear about Louisiana is true. Yeah.
So going back to like your early roots, because we want to dive into childhood and kind of move through the different stages of life. Uh,
Hmm.
what would you say kind of kept you grounded or helped your mindset? early on, like as a child? Like what would you say? Like your dad, I know you just talked about him being a military background, your mother. What are some things you feel like kept you grounded and helped shape your mindset? Cause you seem, I'll be honest, like growing up with you, you always seemed like you had a more level head than others. You know, I was doing my thing at early age and used to look at us and be like, bro, y'all tripping. So like take us
Yeah.
to the mindset of like what kept you grounded.
So believe it or not, I think all the way up until eighth grade, I was beyond bad. Like if you didn't know me before eighth grade in middle school,
Okay.
then you probably would have thought I was like a real good kid. Um, because I was off the walls. I would always try to start fights. I was goofy but obnoxious, like
You was
real
fighting people?
loud. I try to, I try and slap people. Like that one bad kid, like you know how we're older now. You look at them little kids, be like, bro, you're
Yeah.
bad, bro. Like you're bad. Like that was me when I was younger,
Hey.
and I think I ended up getting held back. I got held back in eighth grade, um, and that alone, that was just an eye opener for me. That pretty much like just made me do a 360, a full 360, um, and that kind of just in a way, like bits and pieces, made me to who I am today. Cause my whole mindset is different now. Military plays a big part in that. But just I think just me, getting held back in eighth grade, it was an eye opener before I even got to high school and everything. So um
So you think like
that I think that alone, my parents like I don't even say they're really mad, but they were like just disappointed in me. Like bro, like you failed eighth grade. Like,
yeah.
and it wasn't even because of grades. It was just because I was so bad. Like I got like
Dang.
that grade, like I just got into fights and everything. And they're like,
Yeah.
nah, like you got to stay another year. So yeah, that's that alone. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. It was just a switch that just went off in my head um
Yeah, I feel
and I
like
just
you
started
move
like
so friends kind of moving past like growing like going to high school and stuff. You feel like that kind of sets you into a different tone, like mentally. Like okay, let me get my stuff together, kind of. You feel like
something like that. Yeah, because I had friends like Warren and all of them, I was with them and then they, since I failed, they went on without me. But
yeah,
then, just being there, in the heat of the moment when that does happen, then it's like, yeah, it's like I messed up real big time. But then as time goes on, it's like, I just made friends with whoever it is that I made that year and so on and so forth.
yeah,
And I was like, you know what, bro, it's life. I'm not gonna say it happens to everybody, but sometimes that's all you need,
yeah.
to really, make you lock in on, what you really need to do. So I'm glad it happened then and it wasn't like, I got arrested or anything like that. And
Exactly, yeah, for sure.
um, I'm still alive till today, so I'm just glad something like that happened early on in life to where, just flip that switch in my head and I'm pretty much good now.
Um, so as far as military, before military, and now you're moving on to your technician now. So before those careers were set in place,
Mhm.
as far as a young Andre, what was the dream? Did you have a dream as far as like what you had sought, or was military always the goal initially?
No. So I think before I even knew what it was, I wanted to be a like an entrepreneur. Like, and in my head back then, an entrepreneur is just one of the people that went around with the suit and everything, had the suitcase, just went around just talking to people. Um, like the Jehovah Witness folks. That's what I thought an entrepreneur
you
was when
you
I was
see
younger.
yourself as a Jehovah Witness? That's what I was.
Yeah, no, just a dude with a suit and
Nah,
a
I'm
nice little
messing with you.
suitcase, just walking around door to door and
Yeah,
stuff like that. I just thought that's what an entrepreneur was. And I'm like, okay, they look nice and everything. It looks cool, you're making a lot of money, or at least you look like you're making a lot of money. So I'm like, yeah, I want to be like that. I want to be that when I grow up. And as time went on, you get older. I think near the end of high school is when it's like, it started to click. I'm like, bro, I really don't know what I really want to do. Um, so I think it was the last year, my dad had already said, we can't pay for you to go to college, anything like that. You got to find a way to, make something happen. And I'm like, you know what, might as well just try the military because I didn't want to stay at home for years on end, just living off of my parents and everything like that. So I just tried the military, and I will say it's something I feel like everybody, if you can, should want to try
The
because they got
military.
benefits. Yes, the
Yeah.
military has benefits. It has, I think everywhere you go, no matter what it is gonna have its pros and cons, no matter what it is. So I don't know. I just feel like the military just sets you up for life. It will forever set you up for life. Whether you stay in for 4 years, whether you stay in for a full 20, no matter what, you can make something out of that just because when you do go in and you do happen to get out, you're gonna have those things behind you. So say you go in for 4 years, 1, 2, 3 years, and you get out and you want to start a career on the civilian world, which is what they call it in the military. Um, then that's going to follow you. They're going to see you have a military background. Hopefully, you didn't get put out for a bad
Exactly.
reason.
That's the
Cause drug,
key.
yeah, no drugs or anything like that.
Yeah.
You want to get out like med boarded. Like say something happened to you, an injury, anything like that. If something like that happened, yeah, it's not going to be a bad issue or anything like that for when you do try to get a real job on the outside of the military. So just having that on your resume that you're in the military, you're a priority. Usually a priority to just about almost any job, as long as you don't need no crazy. It's a crazy criteria, anything that you need for whatever it is that you're trying to get into. But yeah, that's pretty much where my mind went from, when I was younger to how it was in high school, to the military.
So you spoke on, so you said your junior senior year, that's when your dad kind of giving you the reality that you aren't gonna have a easy path towards college, like it's not gonna get paid for, it's not, that
Yeah,
kind of shifted your mindset to, did you ever think about going to college?
I did. But I really didn't think I was gonna make too much happen out of it, just because I just wanted to go just because the rest of my friends were going,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
And I just didn't want to be left behind. If that's really something you could say, I just want to be there with my friends, you know. But I was in JROTC as well, so that kind of pushed me to the military side. I did that my sophomore, junior, and no, my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. I didn't do it my senior year.
Okay.
Um, So I had that on my resume. So I'm like, you know what, man, the army isn't gonna be too bad. I think, the one thing that everybody's gonna think of is war when you come
Exactly.
to
That's
come to
why.
the
That's where
military.
my mind
So
used to go. I'd be like, I don't know if I want
yeah,
to.
yeah.
But now that I have more knowledge about it, I realize, like, and we did like summer hire programs and stuff like that. You realize there's so many different jobs within the military. But I did
Mm,
want to ask. So once you made the decision, you said, okay, I want to go this route. Um, from my understanding, you stayed in for two contracts, right?
yes.
So you stayed in. So
Mm.
what? Once you started that first contract, what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna run this back? What was your mind? Was it more so of like, I really don't have a path right now that I feel like I want to go to after military, or you enjoyed it at that time and you wanted to just see where it took you?
So what's crazy about that is I put down I did two contracts. So after my first contract, in my head, I'm like, nah, I think it was just a place I was in Kentucky. So I did 4 years there. In my mind, I'm like, nope, I want to get out. I just want to go home, find a regular job on the outside, and just call it that. And the before you're getting out, they're gonna talk to somebody, they're gonna try to convince you to stay.
Yep.
And a guy talked to me, he was like, yeah, just do one more year, and then if you don't like it, you can quit. So I'm like, you know what? He convinced me it was good, but it was more so on the job that I was gonna be doing, which led into what I want to get into and what I'm somewhat doing right now. He was like, yeah, just do 1 year. You can be a 25 Bravo, which is an IT specialist in the military.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, okay, one more year, and I could do that. And if I don't like it, I can get out or not. So I'm like, okay. So I signed the papers. I signed the papers, and I was out, but not really out. So I was in the reserves for 4 more years, which is where that second term comes into play.
Okay.
Um, and I did 1 year, and in my head, I'm like, I'm just going in the reserves. You only go to what is it to the unit like once a month
Yeah.
for a few days. So months are going by, months are going by. Then years are going by, years are going by, and I'm not thinking anything of it until after the second year. I'm like, wait, I'm like, I thought I was only supposed to be doing this for 1 year. And I ended up talking to my first sergeant, and she was like, you know what, you're already halfway over the hump. You know, you might as well.
Come on,
That's how they get you. That's how they get
don't
you.
be a
It's like
quitter, man. You
you're
halfway
already
there.
over you're halfway there. So it's like you might as well just finish it out. I mean, I'm like,
That's
it could be a
crazy.
lot worse. You know, you're only going once a month, and then once a year, you're out there for like 2 weeks. And if you came from the active side, it's like, you know, it's really a cakewalk. If you come from the active side going to the reserves,
Yeah,
it's you know, it's real easy because you know you go from doing it every day to doing it once a month. So, like, yeah, it's really not gonna be too bad. And plus, I like what I'm doing here. So,
yeah.
yeah, that's where my 4 year, well, my eight years came from the military.
Uh, so I'm pretty sure the military has taught you a lot of stuff. And you've gone through a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure in the military. What would you say was your toughest moment that you feel like you had to push through, and how do you feel like you grew from it?
My toughest moment in the
What, or at
military.
least one of them that you feel like you can speak on that kind of like was a tough moment that you kind of had to push through.
Back then, where you probably won't see it till today at all, or yeah, today at all is like everybody can say like hazing and stuff like that. Um, when you're young and you know new to the military, it's they break you down to build you up and stuff like that. But the way my mind worked at that point, it really wasn't like that because I'm black, of course, and I was surrounded by nothing but white folks, and I was in
Yeah.
Kentucky. So,
Oh man, yeah.
um, yeah, so I was the only, I think I was like a token pretty much of my unit until
You're
like a year or
token.
two after I got there. Yeah, you can call me a token.
Yeah.
So, um, you know, I was getting smoked, which is what, you know, you'll be doing push-ups or sit-ups or whatever it is that they make you do. And at one point, you know, it just got to a breaking point, and I ended up snapping. We almost got into a fist fight, you know, but it was more so on the other guy, you know, just abusing his power
Yeah.
and you know stuff like that. It just makes you think. It made me think a lot because I'm a big thinker when it comes to stuff like that, and you know why people do what they do, and you know what they try to get out of it. Because you know there's a certain point to where you're doing it and you want to, you know, make somebody learn from it, and then there's another point where you're doing it, you know, just because you have the power to do it. So
Yeah, definitely.
you know, I understood it to the point where I'm like, okay, you know, I'm not supposed to do this. You know, just like you're training a pet. You know, you don't want to you mess up, make them do X, Y, and Z over and over. So you know, they would make me do that. But then it got to the point where it's like they're degrading me.
Yeah.
You know, you know, you're in a camp full of people and they're trying to make you bear crawl through the woods and stuff like that in front of other people. So it's like,
Yeah, that seems
I'm
like an
like,
abuse of
why? I'm like,
power. Yeah.
you know, I'm the only you know black dude there, and you got you know these white folks. You know, I don't want to make it seem like you know it's racist or anything like that,
It
but
sounds like it
just
could be. It could
in
be a
my
hint
head,
of
yeah, that's
that.
what I'm saying. You know, in my head at that time when I was new
Yeah.
to the military, it's like, you know, what else? Like, why else wouldn't I think that? So that you know that just really changed a lot out of me. And then getting deployed, I think deployment was probably the biggest, you know, the top whatever you want to call it, of you know how I am to the way I am now because deployment, you know, that's hey, that's the thing, you know, you get deployed, you guns going off, bombs going off and stuff like that. You know what deployment is, or at least,
Yeah.
you know, once you hear deployment, you think war. So I was beyond scared when it came to hearing I was going to deployment. I cried. I think that was probably the last time I cried. I cried in front of my mom's. I was leaving because I went back home. I left from Kentucky, then went back home, you know, to gather our belongings and everything. And then, you know, just saying goodbye to my mom's. It was a regular conversation. And as I was turning around to leave, I just started like I was laughing because when I cry, I don't like boohoo cry anything like that. I just started laughing. So
Yeah.
I laughed, and my dad would, because my dad was gonna drive me back. I just started laughing. He's like, "What's so funny?" And he looked at me. He's like, "Wait, what's wrong?" I'm like, "I don't know why I'm crying." I'm like, "I don't know why I'm crying,"
Is
but you
that
know,
was
it's
the
because
only time you were deployed too, right?
yeah, yeah, that was the only time. That's when I was on the active side of the
Yeah.
military, and I ended up going to Afghanistan. So, yeah, you know, because I thought the worst. was gonna happen. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure a lot of people would do that if that's their first deployment. So,
Yeah, for
um,
sure.
yeah. And then I met a guy over there. I was working on computers. It wasn't my job to work on computers. We were just on a gate. We were on a gate with other foreigners, and we were just helping them, making sure everything that was coming in and out was secure. And there was, some computers and stuff like that in there, and the foreigners really didn't know what, too much what to do. And I would just go in and be like, okay, well, just flip this, do this, and it's golden. So the contractors, they had a ticket to come out there, and I would just, well, they came out there, and he seen me, and he was like, I thought, they said the computer was messed up, and I'm like, no, no, no. He's like, don't worry about it, I fixed it. Me just doing that, the guy's like, you fixed it yourself? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what's the issue? I didn't think it was that big of an issue back then. And
Yeah.
he was like, he's like, do you plan on getting out soon? I'm like, I said, maybe. Like, wow, what's going on? He's like, here, take my card, write down my information and everything. So I want to, I got a job for you when you do get out of the military. He's like, it's
Wow.
IT. And I'm like, just that alone. I'm like, I did something small that really didn't mean anything to me, but to other people, it's going to mean a lot.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he noticed it. So it's like, that was like another switch in my head. I'm like, wow, it's like, I'm doing something that I'm used to doing without really trying, if that makes any sense. But
Yeah.
other people are noticing it, and that's something that I could really do because I like doing stuff like that. It's just a quick fix and a small troubleshoot. So I'm like, okay, it's like, okay, so I think I knew that's when I knew what I really wanted to do in life, and
Yeah,
that's
that's what I was about
when
to
I got deployed. And
that's what I was about to say. Like I feel like moments like that can get us the confidence that we need. Like in your case, you was in the military, you probably didn't have the direction at that point, but just something small that you didn't even think would have been that significant kind of led you into the career and the confidence to be like, okay, I can transition back to the civilian world and do something that I enjoy doing. Uh,
Mhm.
so moving on from the military and going to IT, what's before we leave that section, what is
Mhm.
one thing that you feel like the military taught you that you use almost every single day now in the civilian world?
There's I ain't gonna lie, there's a lot of things that the military can teach you.
Well, what's
But
the
I
biggest?
think
Yeah.
biggest, and I kind of already had it in me, but it kind of just heightened it even more. Is just patience. It's having patience with a lot of things. Jobs. Say you're applying for jobs and you don't get that job you want to get. Just be patient. It's gonna come to you no matter what. Just give it time. You go into the military. The first thing you do is they tell you hurry up and wait. You hurry up to do a lot of things and you're
Hurry up and
waiting for
wait.
hours. Yes.
I've
They
never
they they
heard that
speed
before.
you. They speed you through. You hurry up and get your hair cut. Speed you through, get your shots and everything, and you're just waiting. You're just waiting after that. It's just a long process.
Wow.
You're there all day. You just want to go back to the barracks, go to sleep and everything, and it's just hurry up and wait. And that to this day, it's like I'll say that to my coworkers and other people. It's like, yeah, just like the military, hurry up and wait. But just patience. Just patience
Yeah.
is big, and it teaches you a lot of that, to where you can carry that into the regular side of the non-military things. And I don't know, it's you can apply that to pretty much everything in life. Patience, patience with kids if you have kids,
For sure. Yeah.
relationships. If you don't, if you're trying to get into a relationship and you can't get into one because, whatever it might be, just give it time. It's gonna happen no matter what. Just let life do its thing and it'll come to you.
Yeah, I like that. Also, patience, because yeah, like you said, patience is used for everything. So,
Mhm.
and you need it.
Yep.
We see too many times where people lose patience, and you can end up losing a good thing. You can end up losing your life. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that
Mhm.
happen when people are quick to act and not be patient and wait for certain stuff. Um,
Yep.
so transitioning into the IT path now and the IT world. So now you are an ADT technician.
Mhm.
What's one of those days that really makes you just feel like, man, I'm really helping people with this now? Like you moved off from the military, so like what's something or like a task that you do or maybe even a day if you want to express that, like that you was like, man, I'm really doing this now, like and helping people like with this.
So we do CCTV cameras, and there's days where we have to run like 20 cameras and stuff like that. And um, I mean, it's a real big job, and you do it, and because we got to install apps on their phone. So when you sit back and you look at, the camera angles, you ran the wires, whether, you're pretty much there the whole day. It's like, you just sit back and you want to admire pretty much everything that you've done.
Yeah,
And there's times where the customer, they'll be like, wow, it's like, you guys did all this. Um, did you have to go to college for this? Do you have to go to school for stuff like this? I'm like, no, I was just in the military, and it just worked out that way. And I don't know, it's just there's a lot of customers that I'll run into, and they're overjoyed about the work that we do. And it's little things like that just make me appreciate the job, and everything that I've gotten into and where I'm at today. And that just makes me want to keep doing stuff like this over and over. And yeah, that's pretty much that for the ADT side of everything.
yeah, I'm saying because what you're really doing, I feel like you really bring people comfort. You know what I mean? Like whether
Hmm.
it's depending on what you're installing and stuff, but you're literally bringing people comfort. Like you don't know what people are dealing with. There's some people like um that might even be coming from the military side that you know
Hmm.
deal with security, like, and they might struggle with security, and they want to have that extra protection. And I feel like there's certain things that you install that you help people with, um, that could help and alleviate some of that stress that they deal with when it comes to that security. So I'm pretty sure that is a very like self-rewarding job. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with that. Uh, what's something funny that you feel like that has happened on a house call? I remember we talked about a couple of things where, you had moments with customers, but what is one of your funniest moments that you feel like you've had, or like a customer that's tried to help you and you feel like you, or they tried to seem like they were helping you, but they made it worse. Like, what's a what's a story you could give us, like a funny story on the ADT side?
A funny story.
You never had a customer that was bugging you with certain stuff or
I
anything
mean,
like.
there's times where there's customers. I think it's more so of a gripe, but they have the people that will sit there and just watch you the whole time that you're there. Like sometimes you're there for like 4 to 5 hours, and you'll have that one customer that's just over your back the whole time, watching literally every single thing you're doing. I'm like, yo, this can I just work? Can I
Just
just
chill,
I just
chill.
want to, I just want to get everything done. And, like, did you do this? Did you do that? I'm like, I mean, in a way, I'm like, I kind of would just give them the things. I'm like, I mean, if you want to do it yourself, you can if you want to, but we got to be
Yeah,
professional. So it's never anything that I'm gonna do or anything like that. I'm always kind to them. If they're kind to me, then I mean, it is what it is. If they're
yeah.
not, I just let it be that. But I think there was a few funny times. It happened a while back. Lately, it really hasn't been a lot of funny things that have happened. I might
Okay.
have to think back then to see if something like that has happened. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of moments. You run into a lot of moments
Yeah, I can
when you're
only
doing stuff.
imagine. Uh,
Oh, one just popped in. I think when I first started, it was either my first or second week of ADT, and I walked into the woman's house, and she went off to the back, and she was doing something, and then she came back out, and the first thing I smelled was weed. I'm like, is somebody smelling weed in here? And then she walked up, and her eyes, she was like, she started blinking slow. I'm like, yeah, she's smoking weed,
yep.
and before I could even do my job, like she pulled out, she pulled out the weed, and she was like, "You wanna take a hit?" I'm like,
Oh
"No,
man,
I'll
come
just get
on, man.
fired."
Exactly. Come on. They
I'm
be
like,
so.
"No, like I gotta do my job." Like, no, there's no way I can sit here and smoke weed with you while I'm doing this job. Like, you probably be setting me up for all I know.
It's so
I'm like,
funny to
nah.
see that, man.
Yeah, and that was when I first started. So I mean, I knew I wasn't gonna risk it to smoke weed for somebody. So I mean, that's one good funny moment that has happened
Yeah,
for my
they.
time working 80.
I can only imagine a story like when I used to work. I used to work as a like a delivery person for like pizza, and these people would be trying to give us shots and giving us weed. I'm like, come on, bro. I'm just trying to deliver this and go. Like, but yeah. So I can only imagine stuff that you ran into.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know you mentioned focusing on like builder stability and like benefits and stuff like that. Can you tell
Mhm.
us how your mindset has changed now versus a few years ago? Like maybe when you were transitioning to this into now that you've been I feel like you've been in ADT for how long now? Or
Three,
just
pushing
IT,
4 years.
yeah, 3 4 years. So
Hmm.
yeah, tell us about like how your mindset has shifted now when it comes to stability benefits, like maybe your passion versus maybe a few years ago when you were transitioning out of the military. Do you feel like it has changed or has it stayed the same?
I mean, I think it's always going to change. Life is always about change, no matter what. We're going to get older, and you're going to have to adjust to whatever life throws at you. So, yeah, it's changed since then. I feel like it's going to change every year, every few years. Um, Once I did get out the military, I did hop around a few jobs. I know me and you worked at FedEx for I think it
Exactly,
was
yeah.
like a year or two. And at that point, I was really just trying to get money. Um, I I just needed a job at that point, and then because I was always putting my resume out there to get something somewhat into IT, and once I got a job offer from them, I felt like this is to me the physical side of the IT. So we're running wires, we're learning how to do cameras and everything like
Yeah.
that, and firewall, well, the outside of firewalls and stuff like that. So, um, like, what is it? I can't. What is it that you said again?
You talking about the question?
Um, like the passion and everything like that.
Yeah, just like
Oh,
your
benefits. Sorry.
oh yeah,
I drew a blank. I drew a blank.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Now, since I'm getting older, I just turned 30, so I want to focus on.
Dang.
I feel like
I just
the I want to focus on like I feel like it's like I want to call it like the second half of my life. I guess you
Yeah.
could say. Relationships and everything like that. I want to focus more so on that. Starting a family soon. I do want to focus on starting a family soon. And
Oh, that boy
with all of
said
that,
soon. Hold on now.
with all of that comes, money. No matter what,
Yeah.
there's always going to be money. So that's where benefits and everything I'm going to play. And I'm working on getting, all of that from the military and everything. So,
Okay.
starting a family, getting a house, pretty much thinking for others, my significant other, instead of just myself, is more so what I want to focus on. So ADT does a real good job with that, but at the same time I feel like I need more.
And
And
that's
yeah.
where I'm actually, yeah, that's where we was about to lead into. Um, just thinking about your IT journey now and where it's taken you so far, what do you think like for you, what is the next step? What do you think the next step is for IT? Uh
For Go on.
yeah, just like the journey as far as like are you thinking about uh in the future, like what's the vision as far as like leadership role or a different angle of IT or like exactly, or do you see yourself doing this for another period of time and kind of just see like what where the dominoes fall, or like do you have a vision as far as your IT, like is there something other that you want to like capture or like do or cert or maybe certification or something
Mhm.
like as far as IT world, like what is the next step do you feel like?
So I can see myself doing ADT for a little bit longer, but I think the end goal is really getting into cybersecurity, between cybersecurity and cloud applications, on the
Okay.
IT side of things. But when I was in school for IT specialist for the military, um, they taught us a little bit about cybersecurity, and that just blew me away, just about the things you could do and the stories they would tell about little things that you would do that other people don't pick up on when it comes to like Wi-Fi and little things that people don't think other people can get into. It's just stuff like that where I'm like, yeah, I can see myself just being in that field and just getting it done in there. So to me right now, that's what I really want to get into is cybersecurity. And
Okay.
yeah, from there, I just want to keep going.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with IT jobs now, especially with the world moving towards technology. Like, I even thought about IT at one point. I was like, wait, I suck at computers. You just see how I struggled just now with this thing. So I'm pretty sure I could if I got my certifications. But man, that's something that I don't know. I don't feel like I have like how you talk about IT. I don't think I have the passion for it. Like, my passion is sports, so I'll
Hmm.
probably just stay in my my lane. I'll let y'all have the IT. But so moving on, I do want to segue to um, your mindset growth and actual like relationships and stuff outside of just work. So
Hmm.
thinking about that, and we talked to you spoke on it a little bit just now about how your mindset has shifted towards like your significant other and starting a family soon. How do you feel like just moving throughout the things that you are thinking about? You just talked about a house, how those relationships and the thought of a family like shape your priorities right now? Do you feel like your mind, like the decisions that you make now are like tailored towards that more than, a couple years ago? Like you feel like your things that you pick and choose, do you feel like it's more tailored towards like my significant other and where I see myself in the next couple years as far as family?
Yeah, bits and pieces. Yeah, I can see that. Me and my significant other haven't really gotten to that stage, to where we actually want to get married or anything like that. But I do see it in our future. So I do plan on, making putting forward that effort to make the money and everything that I need to
Okay.
make, and just taking the steps that's needed to, get to where I want to be with the whole marriage and having kids and the house and all of that.
Yeah.
And I know, it's not going to be perfect. I know I won't say most people because I really haven't been in those shoes, but, I don't think you can really plan for it outside of the whole financial aspect. But, I feel like, it's going to be different for everybody once you have a kid because, if you never had a kid before, you're really not going to know what it feels like. So, um,
Yeah, for
yeah, I
sure.
mean,
I'm saying,
nah, I'm
and
just taking it.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna just agree with you and just say that, everybody moves at their own pace. I think having those talks is
Hmm.
critical at an early stage because you want to make sure that you're at least on the same. You don't have to be on the exact same page, but you want to make sure that you're moving along in the same direction. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So having
Hmm.
that conversation, not just saying that you have to have that family next year or you have to have the house next year, but making sure that the end goal and the growth is similar. So I think
Hmm.
it seems like y'all, from what I've heard, it seems like y'all have had certain similar conversations saying like, okay, I do see this in our future, or like I would like this to be in our future. So even that is progress. It doesn't have to be, everybody's not going to be in the same pathway, or like, oh, and in the next 3 years you have to do this or your relationship isn't, strong or whatever, or you're not moving in the right direction. I think everybody is on their own wavelength, you know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
think that's good. But as far as like, the relationship and communication, what is something that you feel like you have grown, like from your old self to now, when you've learned more about love or communication? What is something you feel like your old self would be like looking at you like, oh, we're doing that now? Like, is that something that we're doing?
I think it's exactly that communication. I think when it comes to relationships in the past, I really didn't know how to express myself just because of how society would, paint you out to be for at least on the male side of things.
Yeah.
If you express too much emotion and stuff like that, then, people look at you in a different way. So, me growing up and dealing with relationships, it was always hard for me to really communicate how I felt and, just really opening up pretty much about everything. And with this relationship that I'm in, she could tell you, I'm always big on harping on communicating because without communication in a relationship, I'm pretty sure anybody could tell you it's not going to work because, one person can think one thing. And if you don't tell them exactly how you're feeling, then, they're just going to think the worst. So it's
Yeah.
always good to let the other person know how you're feeling, where you stand, where you want to be, and everything like that in a relationship. So, everybody has a good foot forward and know, where they're going. And that's just big to me, communication and listening and being transparent, just the whole nine. Just I feel like communication is number one when it comes to a relationship working.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's something that I had to learn, like communicating, because nobody wants to guess what you're thinking. Nobody wants to
Mm,
guess or be left in the dark on like how does this person feel about me, or they're about the relationship, or like just even your everyday. Like I used to, I feel like as younger kid, you didn't really think about the importance of certain stuff, like just letting somebody know where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Or
mm,
letting them know like, okay, I'm heading to work or something like that, so they're not like second guessing or it seems like you're trying to be secretive or anything like that. So I think communication is key, man. Just especially if you love that person or you take that person serious, just letting them know and communicating with them so where they don't have to like second guess stuff. I think it's something huge from what I wouldn't have my younger self wouldn't have done. You know what I mean?
mm,
I feel like we were ignorant in certain aspects just because we didn't know any better. And
mm,
even if we did know any better, we thought we was invincible. And I think that got us burned a couple times. But as you get older, we grow from that.
mm.
So as far as right now, you said that you're the big 50 now. You're getting older. I just I just
The video is
no,
crazy.
that's what but as far as you know our mindset have shifted now that we're older and we're not in that younger stage anymore. What do you feel like as far as the part of your life right now? What does peace as a whole, what does that look like for you now? um
Peace.
yeah, just the and it could that's broad, but to you, what is just like your comfort zone? Like maybe it's just talking to your girl um and just playing a game. Maybe that's your piece right now, and just making sure that you got your stuff, bills and stuff situated. How do you feel like it's shifted now that we're a little older?
I think peace, to me, I think it's been like this the whole time. It's just, being on the game. So that's like a getaway, from, you can say life, you can say work, especially work, you don't have to really tap into reality and everything. Um, long day at work, get home, take a shower, get on the game with the guys. Whether the game is bad or not, as long as you have a good time with your boys and everything, I feel like it's always a good time. And I feel like I've carried that pretty much throughout my whole life, pretty much why I am the way I am now.
Yeah.
And I do want to say streaming, which is crazy, but I haven't streamed in a few weeks, but I am gonna get back into that here soon. The streaming is another big thing that just keeps me at peace because as much as I do like the game, I like to broadcast it.
Yeah, for
Have other
sure.
people being in the chat and stuff like that with me, and just chatting it up with them and then just playing the game. That's something I love to do, and just always brings me peace. Then of course chatting with my girl, I don't want to leave her out or anything like that, but she does
Yeah,
bring me
you don't
peace.
want to get in trouble
Yeah.
with that, man.
I can't leave her out. Yeah, she does bring me peace. She does make me forget about a lot of things. Like life, the hard times, um, long days at work. It's just just us talking. You just kind of makes you forget about it. So it's just little things here and there
You trying
that
to butter up now? You just
hey,
you trying
butter up. Nah, I ain't trying to go too.
to
I ain't gonna go overboard or anything like that.
nah,
But
nah, I'll mess with you.
but the game and her, yeah, for the most part, are pretty much my piece. For I think now going forward, um, I'm really not out in the streets or anything like that. I don't, go out to clubs. That's years ago. Plus, y'all, Steph, all y'all moved away from Hodgeville, so it's
Facts,
like I really
yeah,
can't go out to Savannah or River Street or anything like that when I want
yeah.
to, and then just have a quote unquote good time. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, which is brings you peace, is being around the guys and stuff like that. I mean, it's just the game and her. That's pretty much all I need.
Yeah, that was a good answer. That was a really good answer. Uh, so trying to move towards our last segment and thinking about we've talked about like your growth from military to 80 ADT. We talked about more of like relationship mindset now. So ending with more of like reflection, purpose, and the last one that I like to really focus on is manifestation. Um, if you could go back and talk to your younger self, fresh out of high school, what would you tell him?
Get your certs. Get your certs. Lock in on IT. Focus on the money. Because I was chasing females after high school. Um, I think those, just focusing on the bigger picture coming out of high school
Yeah.
that most of us really aren't going to get just because, our mind really isn't fully developed to think of stuff like that. I think that's what I probably would have told myself is just focus on, your career and what you really want to do. I'm pretty sure coming out of high school, a lot of teachers probably told us that. But
Man,
like
definitely.
you said, most of us we thought we were invincible. Life wasn't really gonna, life's gonna slow down. We
Yeah.
we 18, 19, and stuff like that. Like, bro, we go be in our early 20s forever. But life goes by really fast.
And it
Life
humbles
goes
you
by
for
really
sure.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just say manifesting just good career, good money, and everything like that. I would have told my younger self that.
Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah, man. I would have just told myself, like, look, get your stuff together, man. Get your stuff together. That's what I, but it, and now that I'm a teacher, I feel like I'm on the opposite side of just how, like, those teachers trying to talk to us. Like I
Hmm.
preach to these kids all the time, like, hey, if you don't know what you want to do, man, you're at an age right now where you can just do internships. Like just do internships and see what you like. Like I
Hmm.
and I know we're in a world where everybody wants to get paid for certain stuff, but man, just going out and doing like internships where you get that experience and you can like really I would have told myself to do more internships. Like
Hmm.
figure out what you really want to do because I feel like people that go to college, man, you know, I've seen so many people switch careers two or three times because they don't know what they really want to do. But if you feel like you do those internships, you get like a head start. You know what I mean? So I would have told
Hmm.
myself to do that just to figure out what you really like. And then you wouldn't have to waste all that time and money in college trying to figure out what you want to do. You have a better understanding. So as far as like looking forward, and this doesn't have to be career wise or anything like that, but as far as manifesting something, what is something that you would like to see come to life soon for you? It could be anything,
Be something to come to life. Which so
like just
be a little more specific.
so
No,
like
just
just like something that you. So for Grab to Greatness, is what we kind of what my vision is like something that we talk about that we want to speak into existence, into reality. So when I said what is something that you could see come to life, I mean something that you might be speaking on, something that you might be thinking about, um for you, that you vision for your life. Like it could be, and it doesn't even have to be soon. We don't have to say soon. Maybe it's just down the line, you know what I mean? That
Mhm.
you are thinking of, that you have thought about, you've dreamed about, you might have spoken to yourself a couple of times. What is one thing that you would like to manifest and kind of like speak into existence?
Right now, to be honest, and I feel like a lot of people need to take this and just move forward with it. Is be happy. Find whatever makes you happy, whether it's the game, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your job, a hobby, streaming, um, just happiness. Because to be honest, I feel like life that's pretty much all life is about, being happy. Um, if you have a job and you're not happy in that job and you got to go to that job every day, you're not going to be happy. You know what I'm saying? So, and that same thing goes for a relationship, if you're in a bad relationship and you don't want to leave that relationship because you're going to be lonely,
Yeah.
well, you're going to be in a bad relationship until you do, find a way to become happy.
And for
So
most people, they're in that relationship and they don't want to be alone, but you're in a relationship and you're still alone because you don't
that,
feel wanted or so it's like
that's what I'm
you're wasting your
saying.
time and alone. So I
That's what
definitely
I'm
agree with
saying.
that.
So I
Yeah.
think that's one thing I always think about I don't want to say every day, but it's something that always crosses my mind. It's just wanting to be happy. That's the end goal. No matter the job, no matter where you're at in life, you always want to find a way to make yourself happy. In the end, and as long as it's a good cause or anything like that. I don't want to say like drugs or anything like that, but find a way to just make yourself happy, man. Just find it. It's out there, and it might take time. That's where patience and everything comes into play, but just happiness. That's all I'm manifesting right now. Is just happiness.
Man, I think that's a good way to end the podcast right there because I feel like a lot of us we try to please others. So, finding that happiness within yourself, I think that's a good ending point right there. And I feel like I've watched you grow so much, man, from high school to now, and I've been there for almost every moment. I feel like that's like the at least the ones from high school to now, like that. I've seen how all of those things have shaped you, man, and I feel like you turned everything into a positive. So I just want to say, man, I'm proud of you, man. I appreciate you for pulling up to Gap to Greatness.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
Uh,
you.
I do want to let you have a moment to shout out your Twitch because I know that you're a streamer. So
Hmm.
if you want to go ahead and do a real quick shout out for that, so we can have that.
Um, yeah, if y'all out there and y'all do be on Twitch and stuff like that, follow me at Flowing10, or you can just put Flow. If Steph does have that at the top, or we could just put it in the bio if
Yep.
Steph does want to do that. I am getting back into streaming. I have taken a few weeks off, and it's been spotty here and there, but it's more so just because of works, late days and stuff like that. But I will be getting back into it. I'm gonna commit to it. I know my girl nags me about it. She wants me to
Hey,
stream and
that's a
stuff like
good girlfriend right
that.
there, man. She
Yeah,
nagging you about it.
she loves to see me stream. She loves the scary Saturdays and stuff like that.
That's
She
what's
loves seeing
up.
me scared and stuff like that. So, I will be getting back into streaming again. I just gotta stay more consistent. That's something I want to work on as well. Be consistent with streaming, because that's another thing that brings me joy and stuff like that, and income, of course. So, yeah, that's it.
All right, man. I appreciate you once again. Thank you for pulling up the Gap to Greatness. For everyone listening, like and subscribe, man. Remember, your words have power, man. If anything that we learned today is that the things that you go through and the things that I feel like Dre or Flo went through, it didn't the troubled times didn't break him. It molded him and turned him to who he is today. And I feel like he was able to use that stuff even from the military background and the stuff that you told us was very powerful. I didn't even know some of that stuff happened to you, man.
Hmm.
And you used that and turned into the man that you are today. So uh, our words, the things that we have, do have power. Speak it, believe it, and manifest it. That's huge for my podcast, man. I want us to talk things into existence. So I look forward to checking in with you later on, and we're gonna see you with that family and that family, that house, that the wife. Uh, you gonna be doing your cybersecurity, man. So that's one thing I do want to do is for us to follow up and like see kind of how everything's going and us use this podcast to both motivate each other. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
uh yeah, I appreciate you, man. Until next time, y'all tune in to Gap to Greatness. Thank you.